and welcome to this video presentation on the perfect fourth and the minor pentatonic scale and the presence of the perfect fourth within the minor pentatonic scale. What is a perfect fourth? It is the distance of 5 half steps. And on my guitar grids here on a single string, you can see it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now, the perfect fourth is also the note right next to on the adjacent string, same fret in most cases. I say most cases because, for instance, here we have A and the D is right next to it. Similarly, we have the open A string and the D is right next to it. But right here we have the A and the D, and they're staggered because of the tuning of the guitar, and some people, including myself, call it the B string rule, where anything that is normally as such would have to be adjusted up 1 fret to get the same interval. And then from the B string, though, back to the next string, we have back to the same pattern. So the perfect fourth in almost every situation are going to be on adjacent strings on the same fret. So that's what perfect fourths look like on a single string. They're 5 frets apart, but this would be the equivalent of 5 frets apart. So now we're going to get rid of this, and I'm going to take a look at the minor pentatonic scale. I'm going to bring in the minor pentatonic scale in A over the whole neck of the guitar. And we see the notes of the minor pentatonic scale in A are A, C, D, E, and G. And so in this case right here, we'll start with, let's bring that back. In this case right here, I'm going to eliminate everything except for one position. This is a popular position of the minor pentatonic scale, and that's because it starts on the root on the low E string. But so we see here A and D, the perfect fourth, exists from there. Now from C, a perfect fourth would be F, and that's not a part of the scale. So that is the lone exception. But we see from D, the similar pattern, adjacent strings, same fret, we have a perfect fourth. So D to G is a perfect fourth. If we were to look at it on a single string, the open D string is here. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 frets. That is the definition of a perfect fourth. From E, we have A. Similarly, there's the open E string, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 frets. So E to A is a perfect fourth. And then G to C is a perfect fourth. We have the open G string, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 frets. So from each note within the minor pentatonic scale exists its perfect fourth, and that's what makes up the scale, with the exception of C. C would go to E. So how can I use this? If you already know your positions of the minor pentatonic scale, we could take a look at another one here. Bring this one in. We see that this one uses the open strings. We see the E to the A, the G to the C, the D to the G. The only time that the pattern gets disrupted is when we go to the B string, like I mentioned before, because the G to the B is tuned. That's a major third, not a perfect fourth. All the other strings are tuned a perfect fourth away from each other. So we see basically all the same patterns, and these patterns only get disrupted because of the B string and them being shifted over. So let's now take a look at how we can see this on a single string. If we were playing the pentatonic scale in A, but just on a single string here. And we wanted to know, like what's on the next string. Well, the same thing would apply. We have the D, because it's right next to the A, that's open A, open D. We know that the next note of the pentatonic scale doesn't have its fourth, it has the major third, but then the rest of them do. D to G, A, G to C, A to D, and then C to E once again. So we can literally construct the pentatonic scale. We have our D to G, our E to A, G to C, A to D. C is the lone exception. C to E, D to G, E to A. Now here's where it gets different because of the B string. So that is the B string, so your C is here. So simply bringing it up a fret from where it would be if the pattern, the perfect fourth is here, it is now here. Now, ironically, the C to the E now looks kind of like what we normally see as a perfect fourth, but that is still a major third. D to G, E to A, G to C, A to D, and then continuing on, we have C to the open E, that is the lone major third, D to G, E to A, G to C, A to D, G to, or excuse me, C to E, and D to G. And we started on the A string, but we can take all this and copy it over here, and boom, we have our, all our pentatonic forms right here. I can move this over here and move this over here and move this over here. We have all the positions of the minor pentatonic scale, leaving one note out accidentally right here. So using the perfect fourth, it's an easy way to construct the scale, if you just have one area that you're working in. So take that, play around with it, envision it, visualize it, that is, and see if it can help you remember your patterns.